Well, hello again, everybody. This is Dave Stevens, and you have tuned in again to the Geary, Stein, and Stevens show. I'm Dave Stevens, and of course, my co-host. Let me bring him in. That's my buddy Troy Geary, all the way in Minnesota. Troy, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing great, and let's get right to our guest tonight. He is a baseball player. He had a great career with
Was
the was a baseball player, had a great career with the Atlanta Braves, and he's joining us tonight. The one and only John Rocker. John, thanks for joining us on the Geary, Stein and Stevens. Where are you tonight?
I am in Destin, Florida at the Hotel Effie.
What do you got going on there?
It's looking at some real estate deals.
Well,
Down,
that's awesome.
down here doing that. So try to get a little golf in. And if it'll stop raining, maybe take a peek at the beach. We'll see.
And how long you down there for?
Just till Friday.
All right. Well, Troy, why don't you kick things off? You're the one that got us this wonderful guy. So throw out your first question.
All right. Good to see you, John. You grew up in Georgia and drafted by the Braves in the 18th round, 1993. Was it an easy decision to sign with Atlanta, being from Georgia?
Not at all. I have thought over the years, I've just gotten into, I'm very long-winded, in case you haven't already heard that about me or for over the years in interviews. But I just started doing pitching lessons, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago, and have seen such a need over the years to give kids advice, not about just about pitching, but about just the overall how to deal with scouts and college coaches, just the whole all-field dynamic of how to deal with manipulating, shaping your career. Because when you're that young, college, pro GMs, pros that they're looking to just take advantage, put themselves in the best position and you in the worst position. And I told every scout come out of high school that I did not think I was ready to play pro ball. I had a scholarship to play at Georgia. If you drafted me, I would not sign. I want to go to Georgia. I'm not mature enough yet, et cetera, et cetera. So the Braves drafted me in the 18th round, even though I was throwing 92, 94 from the left side. And they drafted me in the 18th round, but then kept peppering me the entire summer. So the June drafts, first week of June, John Sherholtz and sometimes Stan Cass was the team president back then, and the assistant GM Chuck Moore would come down to Macon, Georgia, and maybe one night a week or so, watch me pitch in a American Legion game, take me to dinner, drive back to Atlanta. The whole time, come on, John, come on, you want to sign, you want to sign. I was stubborn until probably end of August, early September. I'd gone to Athens. I got my class schedule, went through orientation. I'm 6 days away from starting at University of Georgia. John Sherrills invites me up to work out at the old Fulton County Stadium before a game. It was in 93. They were in the World Series in 91 and 92. I grew up in Macon, Georgia. I'm an obnoxious fan. I'm like, oh my God, there's Sid Bream, there's Chipper Jones, there's actually Chip wasn't there then. There's Deion Sanders, there's John Smoltz, there's Steve A. I was just blown away. I was an 18-year-old kid. So I have a workout there and on the field with Leo, I got to throw in the bullpen and all that. And they take me up to Sherholtz's office after the workout's over and just push contract across the desk. You ready to sign that now? I'm like, hi, give me that damn pen. Sign my contract. And then as soon as I got back in the car, my dad's like, you got to call Steve Weber 5 days before and tell him you ain't coming. You realize that, right? I'm like, oh, shit, I think about that, damn it. But Georgia gave me a 95% scholarship, which I don't know how much you guys know about collegiate scholarships, especially when it deals with baseball. But you got a 25-man roster in college, and you have 11.7 scholarships for 25 players. And they give you a 95% scholarship. And it's 5 days before school starts. You can't use that scholarship now, so it just went to waste. And I had to call up a 50-some-odd-year-old man at the age of 18 and say, I know it's I'm not coming now. And I got a year full, and then went to start playing with Atlanta. I'm not. I know I'll be a little long-winded here, but I do actually have a point. So I go through the minor leagues, et cetera, et cetera. Get to the big leagues, and we're playing in the World Series against the Yankees, and it's Game 3 in New York. And I'm sitting in the lobby bar after a game, having a drink with a few of the guys or whatever. Tap on the shoulder, turn around, and Steve Weber, the old manager for Georgia, he's like, "Yeah, I guess you made the right decision." That's like 5, 6 years later, like, "Yeah, boy, I was pissed at you though. You called me." Like, yeah, no, like I guess you made the right decision though.
Well, John, early in your career, you started a lot. So when did it become a point where you kind of knew you might get into this relief role?
There was three guys you might have heard of that all in the Hall of Fame now. They were in that rotation. It wasn't my decision. I kind of saw the handwriting on the wall. Hell in A-ball. I'm pretty good, but I ain't good enough to crack that rotation. Because they would always, those were the big three. They would always go out and get the best free agent on the market, whether it was a Denny Nagel or an Andy Ashby or whomever, and then usually the best starter coming up through the organization would get that fourth and fifth spot. And I knew I wasn't going to break in like that, and never even thought about relieving. And threw really well the latter half of my Double-A year in '97, and then threw really well in the fall league as a starter. And I get done with the fall league thinking I'm finished. I've thrown close to 200 innings that year as a 21, 22-year-old. And my agent called me, was like, they want to see what you're like relieving. I wish you go to Puerto Rico. You go home for a week. You're heading to Puerto Rico to throw out of the bullpen. And I'd never done it. And I was always the guy that took half an hour to get loose for games. I had to run and stretch and do my arm bands, and it was a whole process. I'm like, we get ready in a minute and a half. I can't do that shit. I have to figure out a way to do it. But after my second or third outing in Puerto Rico relieving, I'm like, I actually kind of like this shit. It's pretty good. So, and threw well. Ended up with a 170 RA. Then went to AAA for a minute in '98. Had like 1.6 or 7, something like that too. And got called up, and that was it. Clearly, I was a better reliever than I was a starter.
And the success was early. I mean, it was great to watch you, have that success for the Braves. And I think it's funny when I do the research, and I worked at ESPN so long, just watching your career, and then you look for things. You had 20 appearances in the postseason, and you didn't give up an earned run. And I don't think a lot of people realize, like, that's freaking unbelievable.
Yeah, they don't realize it. Why is because every year in the postseason it was 22 and a third scoreless. But every year in the postseason, especially when Rivera was throwing, they would always put a stat up there: lowest ERA in the postseason, minimum 15 innings pitched. You know how many times my name appeared up there? Exactly 0 fucking times.
Well,
John, something good. Let's fucking keep his name out of the mix. We can't admit he actually fucking did something good. So that's why most people don't know that, is because it's an intentional, unintentional. I call it conspiracy if you want to use a word that strong, or not. But it's an intentional thing to omit my name. Lowest ERAs of all time, minimum 15 innings pitched. I have 22 and a third scoreless. Never been on that stat line in any postseason game that I've been watching for the last 15 plus years.
Well, I'll put that stat line up right there, right on here, right now. 20 postseason games, 2-0, and a 0.00 ERA. I mean, anybody that can do that in a postseason, you've got some stuff, right, Troy?
Yeah, I mean, watching you coming out of the bullpen to "I Want to Rock" by Twisted Sister, that was pretty cool to watch. Was that your choice for song? And what about that song kind of got you pumped up?
No, I didn't pick it. Just somebody very creative up in the press box picked that one for me.
And John, you had to deal with the media, and we're somewhat media, and I worked both sides as far as at ESPN, but I always realized they were trying to do things, and you see things that happen. You see things taken out of context. You see stories that are changed to benefit the ratings and who they want to go for. And I love to let our guests set the record straight. And I know you kind of were misquoted. Things are changed around, but this is your platform, and I know this is your chance to talk about the media and rant and say, man, you suck, you ruined my life, you ruined my career. I mean, do you have to go back to that too many times? You just get sick of talking about it?
Is that a serious question? A serious question. I will tell you a funny story though. This is a fucking great story. The answer to that short answer is absolutely it's beyond irritating at this point. It's been 20 goddamn years. Your ESPN boys, though, fucking got them. So I did Pros and Joes many years ago. I think '06. I think we did Pros and Joes, and was doing the me. Well, I was in the first episode. I was in the premiere. So fly to New York. The premiere is that night. It's going to air that night. It was like a Tuesday or something. Fly to New York. We were in Grant Park. They had my fat ass out there at like 5:30 in the morning on like March the 6th or something. It's like 28 degrees out, and their gimmick was they had a batting cage set up, and I had to throw live BP to like radio contest winners, and I don't know who the hell. So I had to throw live BP to like 15, 20 people. 28 degrees out, and I'm not even close to being in shape. So at 5:30, I did probably every bit of 50 interviews that day. Every single one of them. Pros and Joes, how is it? Who you on there with? What's the premise behind the show? This is exciting bet. I mean, it's this uniform that says Pros and Joes on this basically. That's the whole thing. So I can't remember the Cold Pizza, I think was the show. So
Oh, yeah.
of the day, and I'm fucking, man, it's 7 hours of this shit, you know. And everybody's been pretty cool so far. So I go in studio with Cold Pizza, and it's Woody, whatever the fuck his name is, and a couple other guys. And prior to getting on the show, sitting there with a publicist, and we're just off camera a little bit. He's like, "Well, John, I've got to ask about it." Like, no, you don't. I'm here to promote a TV show. I'm being paid by the network to be here to promote the TV show. You don't have to ask about shit except the fucking TV show. No, John, I got you. I got it. You know. So we argue for about a minute or two. Like, all right, we'll have it your way. This guy goes, and you'll think I'm a dick because you're a media guy, but whatever. He goes back on set, does his little teaser, do about a minute and a half, 2 minute, 3 minute segment. Well, when we come back after commercial, we got John Rocker joining us. Blah blah blah. All right, let's go. Walked out of the studio. I walked my fat ass out of the studio. So they came back, came out of camera. Hey, John Rocker here. Oh well. But no, you don't have to ask about that shit. You don't. So I gave him a chance. No, you don't have to. He insisted. Okay, well, that's what we're gonna do then. Ha 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 ha. Isn't that funny?
No, it's not. It's not, because as I watched it, and I've seen it happen time and time again, what the media can do to someone who doesn't deserve it, and that's why I'm on the side of the players, the athletes, because
at that point in time, it's been like 6 plus years, and I'm here to promote something that Spike TV had me there specifically to promote. They were paying me a lot of money to promote, not talk about 6-year-old shit in endorsing Sports Illustrated and talking about their shit. No, I'm here to talk about a program on Spike TV, not an article on another media source. I think Spike TV would probably been a little pissed off about that if I'm wasting their airtime to promote their show, talking about another media. They've probably been pretty pissed.
And you wrote a book. It was out there. It was a lot of controversial things and things like that. Scars and strikes, and again, a lot of great stuff from the heart. And I just wonder, having to go through that again over and over and over at that time. I mean, to talk about the same thing over and over, nothing ever changes. You've said your feelings, but still. The media, it's like it's John Rocker, so that's what we have to do. I mean, how do you deal with that?
God rest his soul. Dear friend of mine, J. Marshall Craig, and Jeff was more of a rock. Wrote a lot of rock and roll memoirs. Leasing the Animals, can't call his name right now. He wrote his memoir. Wrote quite a few books with Making Boy. Keyboards for the Stones, Chuck Leavell. I've known Chuck for years, and Jeff wrote about it. I met Jeff, but Jeff helped me with that book. He was found the publisher and a lot of the editing and whatnot. I tried to have Jeff do some of the writing, and Jeff knew nothing about baseball. And when I read the first 3 chapters he wrote, I'm like, absolutely not, Jeff. I will write this book, and I sat down and wrote every word of that book. Actually, Jeff did come up with the title, which I thought was very clever. He did some of the research when it comes to some of the political rantings and whatnot. But when that book came out, I think it maybe sold just shy of 10,000 copies. I thought I would have done a lot better. And Jeff's like, well, I can't believe the lack of PR, marketing that you're getting just from newspaper outlets, etc. And he's like, in fact, I've written, this is Jeff talking, this is maybe 6-7 years ago. Jeff's like, I've written 25 books in my life. And he's like, the New York Times has only not reviewed one of them, your book. Times not reviewed your book. They've reviewed my other 25 books that I've written. It's That's what media is. I've asked Jeff plenty of times because I can't remember what news source Jeff wrote for. He's a Canadian boy, maybe a big paper in Toronto, but he's like, absolutely. He's like, news, journalists will get around in rooms Monday morning and, yep, do this story, nope, bury that story. Yep, do this one, spin this one this way. I mean, it literally is contrived about, what stories they're going to cover, what stories they're not going to cover, how they're going to cover them, what spin they're going to put on. I mean, it's just, as Trump came up with, it's fucking fake news.
Well, how did baseball get away with it? I mean, you came clean. You talked about steroids. You talked about C League and everything, and it kind of like, again, they walk away unscathed, and yet the emperor always gets to walk around naked.
Yeah, I don't. Well, whose head do you think should have rolled over that?
Well, I think baseball overlooked a lot of things, as you said, that they knew about because it was better for the game at the time. And then suddenly when the tables got turned, oh, we didn't know about this and we didn't like it and we didn't want it. And it's bullshit. It's just lies.
Yeah, and you're talking about, billionaires up there and they're owning the teams, and a lot of them own media sources and things like that, the Ted Turners of the world, and I ain't gonna do shit with them. They got way too much money, way too much influence, way too much power. They control the hands that have the pins in them. They're heading a roll, and obviously a lot of guys' careers have been ruined. I'm not sure you'll ever see Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame, or McGuire, or Clemens, or any of those guys, because of all that. The testing, now that this is a part of the game, the millions and millions and millions of dollars and that kind of stuff. But yeah, absolutely said you didn't know anything about it. And I can tell you, no less than how I won't tell you who they were. But one was a team doctor that was employed by the Players Association, and one was a doctor employed by the commissioner's office. So they're technically on opposite sides of the coin, but they're out there for the same message. And these two dudes would come around to spring training every single year. And they try to scare shit out of us about STDs and smokeless tobacco and, yada, yada, yada. They would show the slides of this guy who had herpes from going to the strip club. And every year it's the same shit. And I can't remember, it was 03-ish or 4 times with the Rangers, and they added steroids to their talk. Be deathly afraid of steroids, your balls will come out your asshole. And I'd known these guys for several years, and the whole team goes out into the workout. The talks from like 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. So the whole team goes out to the workout, and I won't tell you who I was standing with, but me and 2 Hall of Famers, 2 others who should be in the Hall of Fame. 5 of us were sitting there talking to these 2 doctors, and both of them like look over their shoulder, like get ready to tell like a dirty joke that nobody should hear. They're like, "Look, guys, if you want to take one kind of steroid and you want to do it twice a year, shit ain't gonna hurt you." Literally after they're talking, yeah, this shit'll make your eyeballs fall out. Yeah, they'll tell that to 5 players, 4 fucking studs, and myself. Yeah. And then you want to tell me the fucking management front office, they don't know that shit? Bullshit, they don't. So, but hell, that was 20 years ago. But they absolutely did.
All right, you were on Survivor. How tough was that as experience? A lot of people think it's scripted, but I know you said in the past that was probably the toughest 10 days that you had.
That was 11 days of just an overwhelming amount of not fun. Fucking awful. And some love this show. They're fans of it. I really haven't watched hardly. I don't really do reality TV. That's a good dude. Jeremy Collins, love that cat. Told him the other day.
How fake was it though? I mean, how scripted? Like
the way it appears on TV, it's actually worse. It's worse. Yeah, I mean there is no food. I mean they give you rice, which is white rice, which has basically no nutritional value to it. Coconuts. Yeah. There was a tamarindo tree that was in our little camp. I ate so many tamarindo nuts. They give you some little fishing things, whatnot. I was able to, using my pitching skills from back in the day, I was able to collect rocks.
A catfish. You got some catfish at night.
Yeah, I did. I was able to collect rocks and throw rocks at crabs and kill the crabs with my rocks, and then bring them back to the camp. And then like 9 little hungry bird mouths are like, cheap, feed me. I've got 2 crabs. I'm not Jesus here. I'm not going to turn this into, 5 loaves and 2 fish to feed the thousands. Yeah, so you're eating probably 200 calories a day. I lost 19 pounds in 11 days. You're on the equator in July. It's 105 a day. You're just sweating your holy shit off. Yeah, I don't know. CBS gets real punchy about like giving away all their little secrets. We had to sign like a 150-page contract. But for just one in particular, so like when you're leaving the camp and you're going to like the challenge or whatnot, it's not next door. They're stuck in the back of a truck that's built for like 6, and there's 10 of you back there, and off you go, maybe like an hour and a half ride, and the windows are all blacked out, so you can't see anything. But to get there, like in our case in particular, to get there was about 3/4 of a mile to walk from where our camp was to where the truck was waiting on us. But you don't do it once. And when you're going from place to place, you can't talk because they're terrified of you, like strategizing, off camera. So things were happening behind the scenes that nobody can see and all that stuff. So they make these 4 or 5 hippie goons walk with you, like some dude with freaking pink fingernails is walking with you that stinks of patchouli. He's got dreadlocks and washed his hair in a month and a half. That guy's upwind from you and just making sure you don't talk, and you're thinking about gagging yourself, but you can't puke because you hadn't eaten in 2 weeks. I digress. So you're going about 3/4 of a mile in total silence in 105 degrees. I haven't eaten more than 2 bites of food in the last 15 hours. I walk to where the truck is, and the cameras there are getting my face shot. Okay, but it's all for the cameras. You get there, you turn around, and go all the way back to camp, 3/4 of a mile in the sand in a buck-05 heat, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Now they got to get the behind the head shot. You'll walk back again. Now you're up to 2 1/4 miles. Get the truck again, turn around, walk all the way back. Now they got the helicopter fly by, walk back again. I'm at a little over 3.5 miles every time you leave that camp. Whether it's a challenge, whether it's the tribal council, whatever, 3.5 mile walk in sand on no food, hot as ass, on the equator, on the Caribbean during July. Yeah. Yourself in the face, please. I'm done. I really volunteer for this shit. No. Pretty brutal, man. Yeah, pretty brutal.
Good to know.
Not stage. Worse than appears on TV, if you can imagine that.
Okay, in 1998, Braves rotation was probably the best, arguably, in MLB history. How much fun was it watching Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, Denny Nagel, who we had on the show not too long ago, Kevin Millwood, all those guys from the bullpen every game?
It's honestly, when you get to that level of game, it's not really fun anymore. It's a business, it's work. You either do a job, and then the last thing you want to do, especially as a closer, is go out there and you take a game that doggy and just, in my opinion, the guy's the best pitcher to put a uniform on. He was just sick to watch. He's just got 24 guys out and 93 pitches in an hour and 28 minutes. And the last thing you want to do is come in and fuck it up for him. So it's a little, you blow some rookies ball game, you're like, whatever. You blow the future Hall of Famers. You're like, oh, it should say 352 wins, but it's only 351 because I just fucked up his 2-hit shutout for him. So it's a little strenuous, and of course, playing for a guy like Bobby, who's an awesome manager, love the guy, and never embarrass you, never airs you out. But when you're expected to not just make the playoffs every year, but go to the World Series every year, when the front office expects that, the fans expect that, the team expects that, and your leash is about this long. So, you could deal for 2 or 3 months, and if you're on a long-term contract, you could shit the bed for 2 weeks, and here's your I forgot to give you this. It's your ticket to AAA. We'll call you when we need you. But it's only been I know, but you've blown 4 games in the last 2 weeks. Ticket to AAA. We'll call you when we need you. It can get a little stressful. A little fun, but also very stressful.
I'll have to talk to you off camera the night Glavine and I got drunk the night before the '96 All-Star game. That was out of character for him. So
I'm not sure I've ever seen Tom drink more. A thimble of Zima, maybe.
Now, what are you drinking there? What do you got going?
Vodka and water.
It's been a long day for you without food, almost like on Survivor, right?
I'm a healthy.
Now, John, the stuff that happened back in the day, there was some humorous stuff too. Like I saw like the Conan O'Brien thing. Did stuff like that was kind of tasteful and fun bother you? Because I loved seeing a guy go out and flip off the New York crowd in those skits that they did. And I don't know if it bothered you or.
About the Will Ferrell skit, not Conan O'Brien, two red-haired guys. Or was there one with the Conan O'Brien that I'm just not aware of?
Oh, did you not see the Conan O'Brien stuff? So they had a guy that kind of looked like you that would come out and he would flip off the crowd. So this would be you pretending, and it was like this ongoing thing where he didn't talk. He just stood there and flipped off the crowd and Conan.
Right.
So it was classic, and they did this like for 4 or 5 months. I didn't know if you
mentioned that to me.
Yeah, so I don't, and I'll let it run out because there's a couple other things here, but I don't think Major League Baseball would have loved it, but I thought it's so classic.
That's hilarious. What do we do?
Here you are at the Christmas tree.
Yeah, and actually I was in a restaurant called Park years ago with some friends, and Molly Shannon and Will Ferrell were in there, and I had to talk to Will Ferrell for an hour and a half, and a lot of it was about that skit he did. And we sat there and had a drink, got out a laugh about that. He's like, well, I wouldn't do that shit. You might kick my ass. I wouldn't have done that shit. I don't know how big you are. Like, stupid funny, man. Like John Sherholtz, not so much. It was great.
No, hey, if I was, I could go there and ask about Sherholtz if you'd like to give your thoughts about that guy.
I don't mind John. He's all right.
You've mellowed over the years, then. But I do want to ask you. If have you heard that Eastbound and Down was loosely based on your character, and that I love the hair you had then compared to now?
I hear things. I've heard that.
And it was such a great show, and they're bringing it back. Would you come back and do some shows?
You want to hear the best piece of trivia that no one else but maybe me and the people that I've told know? Maybe a few. I'm not sure who's put that together. Bring that clip back up of what's his tits there.
Okay.
What's the kids? Him. So I was born.
Danny McBride.
Danny McBride, thank you. I was born in the Bullitt County Hospital in Statesboro, Georgia. We're not talking about Bellevue in New York. Bullitt Hospital, they birth like 4 fucking kids there a year. And it's a little tiny shit hospital in the last nowhere. South Georgia. In 1974, Danny McBride was born in the Bullitt County Hospital, Statesboro, Georgia, in 1976. We were born in the same hospital.
Wow.
In Statesboro, Georgia. You know where Statesboro is? Of course you don't.
No. But he sounds like you in the show. You guys have that Southern, like there's so much correlation that like the hair, the way he handled media, things like that.
The record straight. Flip back to that picture again.
Okay, here we go.
Got a great wig. His wig sucks. Really? that Geary curl freaking mullet, my hair. Come on, man. You better than that. Take that. You call me a scum bitch, but don't motherfuck my hair now. You call my asshole, won't you? My hair. A great wig.
What was your favorite ballpark to pitch in?
I like Chavez Ravine. I like LA. Just big old foul ground and ball never carried. And as far as nostalgia goes, as I'm a baseball purist, I love Yankee Stadium. That cobblestone Monument Park out there was just awesome. Really like that place. Yeah, probably there in Chavez. I think.
John, late in your career, you ended up in an independent league, ironically, with the in New York. What was that experience like? Was it a way for you to kind of like let the fans know, that a lot of shit was said that wasn't real? Or, I mean, it seemed like you somewhat enjoyed that time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just up there trying to mend a busted shoulder. I really wasn't thinking about too much about making amends with fans. I was more like making amends with a destroyed shoulder. But it was fun though. I mean, the home, like anywhere, the home fans were great. The road fans were a bunch of cocksuckers. But it was fun. I mean, I was 30 minutes from the Hamptons, so every off day, every day game was spend the night in the Hamptons, and that didn't suck. And we get to go to the city, probably every week or two, and just do something fun there. And it was good. It was fun.
And John, I was born without legs, and I talk about leaving my legacy. What after all these years in your life, how do you want your tombstone, your epitaph, like you got to the show, you had a good career, and it was kind of taken away from you because of the media. So, like, how would you like your tombstone or your legacy to be remembered for who you are?
Just put on there, John Rocker, media darling. You might have hated it, but I made you fuckers a bunch of money. You like zero for fucking years.
But speaking of what you're doing now, you're still doing a lot to help give back. You try to assimilate people with foreign languages to speak American and speak English and like that. So tell us what else you do. You do a lot of stuff.
My fiance is Korean, so and her parents are off the boat Korean. But no, I mean, I don't do all that, but I don't know where you got that from. But no, for years, I mean, I did have a 501c3 for homeless veterans for 6, 7, 8 years. And just got really tired of being taken advantage of with all that and money being stole from me and just being used like a New York Times hooker on New Year's. Got a little tired of that, so we shut that down. But yeah, we have 7, 8 years. We actually did do a lot of good for veterans. But no, as far as what else you're saying, I don't know anything about that. But I am doing a lot of a lot with baseball still. Just I guess reconnected with a guy named I'm sure you know who Tom House is.
Yeah.
His organization, the National Pitching Association, that he was starting. He became my mentor about 2002. And so maybe 2002 through 2005. Spent a lot of time with Tom. And he was just starting the MPA then and kind of lost touch. It's kind of like you do, you get out of the game. And talked to him maybe a couple of times over the years. Then reconnected him a little over a year ago, and he sent me a video of what the NBA had become. And it was a 5-minute video from Tom Brady endorsing Tom House and from Drew Brees and Andrew Luck and Randy Johnson. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, Tom, you've been busy, man. Like, what the hell is this? Like, yeah, we've got it all figured out now. And he sure as shit does, man. I mean, that as far as a baseball mind walking this planet or a pitching mind walking this planet, Tom House is the smartest pitching mind on the planet. He just is. He understands just everything from the nutrition to the sleep side to just how you take care of your body overall to, of course, the workout, the mechanics. I mean, there's just nothing about pitching this guy does not have nailed down. He's taken something that is not, I mean, pitching is not an exact science, but Tom House is damn near made about as close as it's going to get. And I'm very, very lucky to be working with him again and do camps. I'm out with Tom in San Diego, not a lot, but a decent bit. Tom's got Parkinson's now, so he's not able to work quite as hard as he used to, but he's still on the field a good bit. Love that man. But we're working with him now a lot. And years ago, I didn't think I really liked doing lessons. And my buddy Johnny Estrada, that was one of our catchers for a while, nagged me. And I'm like, there's just not enough money, Johnny. I don't have to work. There's $50, man. I don't do that. And so finally, I'm like, all right, Johnny, do some lessons. I'll do some lessons. And love doing it. And just absolutely, that was actually a lot of fun. Okay, I'm going to keep doing this. And that was about 5 years ago. And it's something I really enjoy doing now. And now doing these camps with Tom, we go all over the country doing them. And it's just really enjoy being out with the kids. And you'll see kids, every 6 months, every year. And, you see how they improve and then the stories that they have about, man, I was on the mound, I was struggling. I remember what you said, and just right back on track. And I ended up finishing the game, and we ended up shutting them out. And like that's awesome, man. And they send you a text or email. They just got a scholarship, and you had something to do with that, something to do with building a kid and letting the kid accomplish their dreams. The same kid you were 40 years ago, or excuse me, 30 years ago, and now you're playing a part in that kid realizing his dream. It's nice. I enjoy it.
It's good to see you smiling, looking good with the hair. The short hair looks pretty good. Is that how long you had the short hair?
We tightened up about a week ago, a few days ago. So.
When's the last time you went to a major league game?
Last September. Yeah.
All right. And you
Yeah.
throw it all? You throwing a bit or no?
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. Everything hurts. Yeah. This past weekend, I was supposed to go to we got Braves alumni this past weekend and chose to go to Greenville, South Carolina instead, because in 1997 we won the Southern League. The Greenville Braves won the Southern League, and we had a 25-year reunion of that team in Greenville this past weekend, and it was absolutely every bit as fun as I thought it was going to be. It was. I hadn't seen some of these guys in 25 years, and just to sit down with these dudes, hey, how you doing? 25 years later, and it's like you saw them yesterday. That's one of the funnest things I've done in probably the last 10 years. Was spend 3 days with 18 idiots I hadn't seen in 25 years. It was so special.
Well, that's great. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Troy, final thoughts?
John, thanks for taking the time out tonight. I know you've been busy down in Florida doing some real estate stuff, but really appreciate you joining us tonight.
Not a problem. I enjoyed it, guys.
Hey, I appreciate it too. I hope we weren't too hard on you. You know, I'm a media guy or whatever, but you've always been candid in your life, and we really appreciate you being with us tonight.
The only time I can't handle media is when the FCC can have a little plug at me on stuff like this. I can just cart whatever the hell I want to say.
Well, then we'll help us retweet it tonight, get it out. We're not going to bleep any of this, so it's PG-13, right?
I might have personal beef with the guy interviewing me. Yeah, like I had, and if I ever see this motherfucker, Dan Patrick on his radio show one day asked me if I thought I needed psychiatric evaluation and help. And if that had been on a format like this,
yeah.
Format.
I think there's only one thing to look back on the past and feel better is I think it's good that you didn't have social media in your day because it would have blown up the internet. The internet would have imploded and there would be no more internet chasing after you and doing everything. I mean, do you look back and go, at least you didn't have that crap going on?
There would have been even more ex-girlfriends chasing after me if it was for me. I got caught on the internet.
Well, thanks. Thanks, John. I appreciate it. And we'll catch up with you down the road. If you've got anything, a new book, you're going to camp or whatever, feel free to join us. And hopefully we can have a cocktail or two somewhere down the road.
I've got a podcast that I'm going to start, a company will start producing for me, I believe, probably starting mid-September or so.
Well, Google me. You'll like my story. Maybe I can be a guest on your show.
Well, there you go. Okay.
All right. John Rocker joining us. Troy, that's be a wrap. We got Lee Steinberg coming up at the end of the week and some special guests next week. So that's a pretty good show having John Rocker join us, huh?
Yeah, that was great.
It is. And if you're wondering where our buddy Will is kind of on assignment. He's working right now, but he's going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame this weekend. So hopefully we'll get something out of him there other than a couple of rounds of golf, right?
Oh, yeah. He's going to have fun. And he said he's looking forward to, he's flying out to Canton tomorrow. So.
All right. Well, thanks again. And thanks to our sponsors. We have some great people that are helping us along the way. And we'll have commercials and all kinds of stuff coming up. We got Manscaped, FanDuel joining us, the Fresh Clean Tees. I can't wait to get mine. They're coming in the mail. Of course, Coca-Cola Classic and my dear friends at Pro Stance that are going to be sponsoring the Dave Stevens Ability Camps with Pro Stance. So that's it for today. Another great show under our belts. Troy, we're going to see you, Friday morning?
Friday morning.
All
Lee
right.
Steinberg, looking forward to it.
All right. For Dave Stevens and Troy Geary and our friend Will Stein not here, that's a wrap.